So finally it's time to look at first evil army here in this series. I am Mats and this is the Critical Focus channel, Tabletop Scania. Before we get going with Barad-Dûr, make sure as always to like the video, hit that bell button, leave a comment and subscribe as well, right? So we are gonna look at the first evil army in the series, and it's gonna be Barad-Dûr. So, setting the scene. To the east of the realm of Gondor lies a land of perpetual darkness, known as Mordor. The skies are filled with choking clouds of volcanic ash from the mountains of fire, and the very air is a poisonous fume. It's a barren and harsh land where only the strongest can hope to survive. It is within this blighted realm that Dark Lord Sauron rose to power during the Second Age of Middle-earth. Right. Super cool. The armor composition here includes obviously the Dark Lord Sauron, the Witch King of Angmar, the Ringwraiths, Shelob, Orc Captains, Orc Shamans, Orc Taskmasters, Orc Drummers, Black Númenórean Marshals, Mordor Troll Chieftains. So that's quite a few heroes. And then we have the regular troops, Orc Warriors, Trackers, Warg Riders, Black Númenóreans, Morgul Knights, Mordor Trolls, Mordor Siege Bows, and Mordor War Catapults. The armor bonus reads as follows. The power of the ring could not be undone. Sauron's warband size is increased to 24. Additionally, a force that consists solely of models from the Barad-Dûr army list will never be considered broken if Sauron has 3 or more wounds remaining. Should he have 2 or fewer wounds remaining though, the army will break as normal. Should Sauron be slain, the army will immediately count as being broken. So, starting very strong here, we're not building up to some climax here, we're just starting straight up with the most important model, the Dark Lord Sauron. Sits at a staggering 400 points, his spirit counts as being a mortal model. He's a monster, an infantry and a hero of legend, but as I said, he can take 24 models in his warband, as long as you only have Barad-Dûr models. His move of 6, a fight of 9, so he is tied there with Elendil, for example. Strength of 8, defense of 10, 4 attacks, 5 wounds and 7 courage. He has a might of 3, a will of 6, but that has a special rule, and his fate is also very special, which I will explain very shortly. His wargear consists of heavy armor, mace, and obviously the One Ring. And the special rule for the One Ring when it comes to Sauron is his passive rule here. He does not follow the normal rules for the One Ring. Instead, whilst he wields the One Ring, whenever Sauron loses his last wound or would be removed as a casualty, you roll a d6 on a 2+. The power of the ring sustains him, and he has a single wound restored. During the fight phase, Sauron will make this roll for each wound suffered that would cause him to be removed as a casualty. Sauron may use might to influence this roll. So, yes, 3 might as well. So, I mean, he's really hard to knock out. He can do Heroic, Channeling, Strike, Strength, and Challenge. He has the special rules Ancient Evil, Resistant to Magic, and Terror. And if he is in your force, he must be your leader. Kind of no-brainer, really. And he has the passive rule, the Lord of the Rings. As a student of Morgoth, he possesses an expert knowledge in magic. He can spend a single point of will each turn without reducing his own store. So something we see in Sauron, for example. He has the unstoppable, brutal power attack. Instead of striking as normal, Sauron can instead make 1 strength 8 hit on every model involved in the same fight, including spear and pike supports. He also has the Flames of Evil brutal power attack. He makes a single strike against a single infantry or cavalry model engaged in the fight. If the model is a cavalry model, then only the rider will be affected. If the model is fortunate enough to survive, even if they did not suffer a wound, then the target is also set ablaze. Remember that this also inflicts 1 strength 9 hit on the poor model that Sauron now has in his grasp. He can do 6 different medical power attacks, all but 1 have a range of 18. He can do Drain Courage on a 2+, Transfix on a 2+, Compel on a 3+, Instill Fear, that's a range 3 one. On a 3+, Chill Soul on a 4+, and Sap Will on a 4+. So, just an awesome model, obviously, and will take up the brunt of your points in any force. Next up, we have the Witch King of Angmar. He is a bit special here, because he is somewhere in the lines of 70 to 150 points, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. He is a hero of valor, so 15 ranged models in his warband. He has a fight of 5, strength of 4, a defense of 8, but only 1 attack and only 1 wound, 6 courage. So here's the thing. You can buy how much might, how much will, and how much fate you are gonna have on them. They start with 0 might, they start with 10 will, and 0 fate. And then you can buy up to 3 might, up to 3 fate, and up to 20 will. So if you buy it all the way up, the model will cost 150 points. The war gear consists of heavy armor and a sword. You can do resolve, channeling strike, and challenge. And there's a lot of options for the Witch King. You can take an armored fell beast, you can take a regular fell beast, a crown of Morgul, armored horse, a regular horse, Morgul blade, and a two-handed flail. If you take the armored fell beast, it's 70, the regular 50, crown of Morgul 25, armored horse 15, regular horse 10, Morgul blade 10, and the two-handed flail for 5. And the armored fell beast will have a defense of 7 rather than 6. If the Witch King has the crown of Morgul, his attack value is increased to 3. Additionally, whilst wearing the crown of Morgul, the Witch King of Angmar can choose to reroll 1 dice when making casting or resist tests. And with the Morgul blade, once per game, this model's controlling play may declare that they are using the Morgul blade during the fight phase before rolling the wound. If a model is using a Morgul blade, they must direct all of their strikes against a single target. An enemy that suffers a wound from the Morgul blade is automatically slain, regardless of the number of wounds on their profile. Heroes may use fate to avoid these wounds, but if even a single wound is not saved, they are slain. If the model using the Morgul blade is mounted, they must use the rider's attack and strength if using the Morgul blade. He has the special rules Harbinger of Evil, and he causes terror, and Will of Evil. So when buying the Witch King for your force, you decide how many points of might, will, fate to give him, up to a maximum shown in his profile. At its weakest, the Witch King starts the game with no might, no fate, and 10 will point, and costs 70 point. Each extra point of might, will, or fate costs an extra 5 per increase. So, for example, then a Witch King with 3 might, 3 fate, and 20 will cost 150 before any upgrades. With all the upgrades, you can take up to, let's say we take an armored fell beast, so that will be 220. If we have the crown of Morgul, then 245. And then maybe the Morgul blade as well, 255, and the two-handed flail, 260, right? So, I mean, it can go up to quite a few points here. Next up, we have the regular Ringwraiths, and they are anywhere between 55 and 110. And they work similarly, you just can't raise as high. They start with 0 might, 0 fate, and 7 will, and they can take the will up to 14, and the might and fate up to 2. Otherwise, their profile is kind of similar. They can only do the Martian channeling heroic actions, though. They can take armored fell beasts and horses and regular fell beasts. No other options. They have heavy armor and swords. Yes, so that's basically it for them. Then we can take Shelob for 90 points, and she can't be upgraded, obviously. Spider, Mordor monster, infantry, hero model. And it's an independent hero, so no... She can't have a warband, basically. She has a might of 0, a will of 6, and a fate of 0. 6 wounds, though. But only 4 courage, defense 7 though, strength of 7, and a fight of 7, so quite deadly. And is equipped with large venomous fangs. She has the monstrous charge special rule, so she will knock cavalry. Survival instincts, swift movement, terror, and venom. And she has the brutal power attack Caught in a Web. Instead of striking as normal, Shelob can instead opt to direct a single strike at one model involved in the fight. This model may not be a monster. The chosen model suffers 1 strength 7 hit. If the model is wounded and the wound is not prevented by fate, the model is treated as being under the effect of the Paralyze Medic spell. And she has a Lone Hunter's passive. Shelob may never be taken as part of another model's warband. Orc Captains, they are 40 points. Base, 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate, 4 fights, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 3 courage only. They can be upgraded with a warg, an orc bow and a shield, so potentially 6 defense at best, equipped with armor and sword or pick. Then we have Shamans for 50 points, minor heroes, 1-3-1 for heroics, 3 fight, 3 strength, 5 defense, 2 wounds, 1 attack, and 3 courage, equipped with heavy armor, dagger, and spear, and can do the heroic channeling, very unsurprisingly. And they can also be taken on a warg. I'm not sure if there's any such models, but that's your problem, I guess. They have the magical powers Fury and Transfix. Then we have Taskmasters, which, I mean, Easterlings, not Easterlings, Serpent Horde have similar, and they have, I think they have the same rule as well. Yeah. So 1 might, 1 will, 1 fate, 4 fight, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 will, 3 courage, Heroes of Fortitude, equipped with the armor, mace and whip. And they can do the heroic march action. Very fittingly, each time a friendly hero model within 6 from the same arm list, including the Taskmaster, attempts a heroic move, heroic march or heroic shoot, you roll a d6 and a 4+, they may declare the heroic action without expending might. Then we have the Orc Drummers, which are actually independent heroes for 30 points. Can't be upgraded though. 4 fights, 4 strength, defense 5, 1 wound, 1 attack. 001 for heroics, equipped with armor, dagger and a war drum. Really cool model. I really like the aesthetic of this model. Then we have Black Numenorian Marshals for 65 points, Heroes of Fortitude, 2/1/1 for heroics, 5 fight, 4 strength, defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds. Heavy armor, sword and shield, heroic march, heroic action. Can be upgraded with an armor horse, lances and 200 weapons, and causes terror. They're also really beautiful models. Then we have Troll Chieftains for 140 points, so quite expensive. Those are Heroes of Fortitude, 2/1/1 for heroics, 7 fight, 7 strength, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 4 courage. Heavy armor and sword included. And they can do the strike and strength heroic actions, and they causes terror, and they throw stones on the 5+ only, but if they hit they are quite deadly. They have a range of 12 with a strength of 8, which my poor Easterling suffered last time around. They have Orc Warriors for 5 points each, so pretty cheap infantry here. 3 fight, 3 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 courage, so not all that great stats. Shouldn't be for 5 points. Armor and sword included. Can upgrade them with banners, bows, shields, spears and 200 weapons. Then we have Trackers, pretty cool models. Look more like Moria goblins, I guess. 5 points each. They can be taken on Warg for 7 points. They have dagger and orc bows on the war gear. Or 4+ on the bow. Then we have Warg Riders for 11 points each. They are 3 fight, 3 strength, 4 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 courage, so very similar. Banners, bows, shields and throwing spears you can take for them. They have armor, sword and wog. Then we have Black Numenorians, which are super cool, basically like the Mouth of Sauron, right? They are 4 fight, 3 strength, defense 6, 1 attack, 1 wound, 4 courage, heavy armor, sword and shield included, and can be upgraded with war horns and banners. Causes terror. Then we have Morgul Knights, which are kind of my favorites. They are 18 points each. They have heavy armor, sword, lances, shields and armored horses. And you can option them to have war horns and banners. And they cause terror. 4 fight, 3 strength, 6 defense, 1 attack, 1 wound, 4 courage. Then we have Mordor Trolls for 100 points each. 7 fight, 7 strength, 7 defense, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 4 courage. Armor and either a hand and a half sword, hand and a half club or hand and a half hammer. So kind of versatile there. So it's good that it's not a two-handed, that you can kind of choose depending on the situation. And they can also take the war drums for 30 points. And they also cause terror and throw those same stones as the chieftain did, on the same accuracy and lethality. Then we have Mordor Siege Bows for 50 points. They are strength 9, defense 3 wounds. And the crew consists of 3 orc warriors with armor shields. And one of the crew is automatically the siege veteran. As we have seen before in similar entries, you can upgrade one of the siege veteran to be the engineer captain for 40 points. And you can also take the flame ammunition for 15, and you can take additional crew for 5 points each. It has the piercing shot special rule. If it hits a battlefield target, the target will suffer a strength 9 hit, and if the target has a strength of 5 or lower, will be knocked prone and flung d6 directly away. Any model the target passes over will also be knocked prone and suffer 1 strength 6 hit. If the target comes into contact with a piece of impassable terrain or a model that is strength 6 or higher, it will immediately stop and be knocked prone. Both the target and the obstacle or model will suffer 1 strength 6 hit. And it has the accurate special rule as well. A siege bow will only scatter 3 rather than 6. Then we have Mordor War Catapults for 160 points. It has a strength of 10, defense 10, wound 4. The crew consists of 3 orcs with armor and sword and a Mordor troll, all with no additional war gear. One of the orcs is automatically the siege veteran. All orc crew members have the orc, Mordor, infantry and warrior keywords. The Mordor troll has the troll, Mordor monster, infantry and warrior keywords. And you can upgrade one of the orcs to be the engineer captain. You can take the flame ammunition. You can buy severed heads for 5 points and additional crew for 5 points each. It has the indirect special rule. A catapult always fires using the rules for volley fire with range of 12 to 96 inches. The area effect rule means that if a catapult scores a hit against a battlefield target, all models within 2 of the target suffers 1 strength 5 hit. And it has the wall breaker special rule. When a catapult rolls to wound against a siege target, the controlling player may roll 2 dice and pick the highest. So that's it for the Barad-Dûr entry. When I go over the Angmar lists and the Mordor lists, several of these entries will appear again, and it will then reference back to this list. So in effect, these other lists will probably be a bit shorter than this one, and I will not go over them 2 times. I will just also reference back to this video. Barad-Dûr packs quite the punch. It's kind of low on the courage though, but it's not really an issue unless you're not bringing Sauron or if Sauron is down to his last wounds. What more? Quite a few models that causes terror. We have the Ringwraiths, the trolls, the like Morgul knights and stuff like that. So it causes terror. So it can really be quite nasty on that charge reduction there. Yeah. So feel free to like, subscribe, hit that bell button and leave a comment as well, right? So I'll see you next time with, yes, Angmar, and then after Angmar, the Mordor list will come. So that's it, folks. And without further ado, take care. Bye.